Give me just a second. Nothing ever likes to work for me this morning. Okay, good morning, my beautiful people. We are coming to you guys live. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. I'm coming a little late today. I have been up since about 4:30 going over a lot of different things, and I was meaning to go set up the live, and it's Sunday, okay? It's Sunday for me too, and quite frankly, it's Sebastian's birthday, so I'm not really feeling the whole, I want to get up and just, start jiving the day, okay? I've been up since 4:30. I'm not really feeling it. So I figured today we will, say happy birthday or, it is, we will acknowledge that it is Sebastian's a birthday today, but far from happy. Something that we're definitely not going to be celebrating here on the Bullhorn Betty channel because Sebastian Rogers is still missing at this time. What a shame it is. If you guys are out in the Clarksville area, Culver's in Clarksville is giving away some free mults. Please get over there, support the Culver's in that area, get yourself a free flavor in honor of Sebastian's birthday today. Again, God bless everybody that has been here and showing support for Sebastian and his father Seth since the beginning of this case. We all know that there's something wrong with Chris and Katie Proudfoot. We all know that there is something majorly wrong with them in their behavior in this case from the beginning. Them not wanting anybody to search. I mean, we look at the worst of the worst in our society, and the bad guys similarly act the same. Okay, we just looked at Courtney Bartholomew and how calm, cool, and collected she was after slicing and dicing her own child, and just to hear Chris, it's like his voice and Katie's voice are like nails on chalkboards to me because I know. And they can sit there and try to throw me in jail for knowing. They can sit there and beat me up from knowing. They can sit there and say the worst things about me for knowing, but they know I know. They know I know Katie murdered that child. They know I know that their gig is up. And if I know that it's only a matter of time before the law enforcement comes knocking on their door. Now, we are going to work very hard and tirelessly to make sure that knock comes a lot sooner than later. But in this time, there are other cases that we are going over. There are significant issues going on in this country. And Sebastian is one of the statistics now in our country. And the statistic is for parents doing terrible things to their children. Okay, that's the statistic he falls in. Domestic violence. He falls into a domestic violence statistic. This is Sebastian Rogers. This is Sebastian Rogers' story, and we've been covering it. What happened to him? My opinion is my opinion, but we really don't know until we find him, and he has not been found. But it seems awfully funny that Chris, one day, just comes here and seems like the whole entire world is uplifted off of his shoulders. As if he knows for a fact Sebastian will never be found. And so I had to ask myself, how in the world would somebody know that? And that's if there's nothing left to be found. So that's what put me into the position that I'm in and my new theory. Now we know that Tennessee comes with its own host of situations and issues. And folks, this is going to be short because I know in about 40 to 45 minutes, many of you guys are going to be heading off to church and going to church. So I want to get in here. We're going to hit it and we're going to quit it, okay? With some of the updates. Not everything is going to be about Sebastian Rogers. Again, I'm not celebrating Sebastian Rogers today. Why? Not because I'm a heartless person. It's because he's not here to celebrate. And I joined his father, where how are we going to celebrate somebody's birthday? He's not here to celebrate it with, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure everybody knows that Sebastian Rogers is not home to celebrate his birthday, and we need to bring him home. There's a whole host of issues going on in Tennessee, and many of them we've been covering on this show since Sebastian disappeared. I have a love-hate relationship for the state of Tennessee, okay? The state of Tennessee is a beautiful place, has nice people, but it also has a lot of people that want to say that they're godly in that state. Yet when it's time to stand up and be a religious being, that means standing on a hill alone, just like our Lord and Savior did, right? He was sitting on a hill all alone, fighting what people didn't know, right? And he was crucified for that. No? Yet we have all these people that go in every single day to churches, and today they're going to be filling pews across the state of Tennessee and across the state of all the states in our country. But whenever it comes, push comes to shove, who stands up and actually speaks up? Who stands up to the calling? Who takes those religious preachings and teachings and actually applies them in their life in the state of Tennessee? Very little. There are people out there that do. Mr. and Mrs. Carguy didn't know them. They were out here for a strange kid that they never even met, but they fought for him. Silver's on the Scene, Mr. and Mrs. E-Crime Cast built their platform on trying to talk positively and learn a little more and teach other people about their community and about this missing boy. You know, there are few people that stand up to that calling, that are willing to stand on that hill alone, but very few and far between. Very few and far between. It's quite sad. And one of the things that we learned covering this case is the Department of Children and Family Services in the state of Tennessee. We knew of the state of Tennessee Department of Children's Services when we were dealing with Summer Wells. We didn't like them then. We definitely don't like them now. That Sebastian case is well known. And it was well known that the Department of Children and Family Services absolutely failed Sebastian Rogers. They even failed to notify his father that he was potentially being abused inside the home with Chris and Katie. They just failed to notify him at all. It's very corrupted. Very corrupted. And we always thought, well, is it just this area? No. It's the whole entire state of Tennessee. You guys have some work to do in there. Oh, absolutely. You guys rock. You guys have some work to do there, okay? We're now learning that the Department of Children and Family Services have leaked allegations of SA. So now we've got our people, or the Department of Children and Family Services, our employees going inside these homes. I always told you they seem to always make the mistake, don't you? Don't I always say that? They always seem to take the child that doesn't need to be taken but leaves the child that should be taken. It always seems funny that, I mean, out of any organization that can make so many mistakes, it always seems to be the Department of Children and Family Services. And now we're hearing about SA allegations in the program there in Tennessee. And we learned about this program in Tennessee when we learned that they didn't have enough beds to house all the children that they're taking out of all these families. Okay? And now we're realizing, because, you know, there has been so many allegations of HT and ST amongst the Department of Children and Family Services. It's hard to overlook these serious allegations in the department, especially in Tennessee, where we already don't have a great working relationship. Okay? We have condemned. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button on your way in or on your way out. If you're here and you're wanting to learn a little bit more, stick around. After you hit the like button, come back in. Tell us what state you're from and what the temperature is. Right now, I'm in the state of Florida, Manatee County, which is kind of on the west coast of the state of Florida. And I'm sandwiched between Sarasota and Tampa, and it's about 68 degrees going into the 70s right now this morning. So hopefully there's a lot of people in a lot cooler weather than me here in the state of Florida. But please let people know where you're from. Maine 12. Oh my goodness. Girl. You just been shivers in my bones, girl. April, good gracious. I'd move. I guess you're probably used to it. It's home, right? It's home. But damn, girl. I think you're probably the coldest. Oh, good gracious. It's so cold. I bet. I'm in Florida sitting in 68 degree weather and you made me shiver, okay? We feel for you. We feel for you. Mom, it's nice to see you. CPS steals kids nationwide. And you know what? We're hearing that. And then to hear this. Now listen, guys, this is about a 3-minute clip and it's going to be, it's a problematic. It's problematic. And don't worry, we got 2 more things I'm going to cover and then we're going to go so you guys can get to church. And you guys will be in church all the time.
Says is facing new scrutiny over allegations of sexual assaults inside the facilities where children are housed.
One Republican lawmaker questioned the DCS commissioner about the issue during a recent committee hearing.
Inside the agency tasked with protecting Tennessee's most vulnerable, one lawmaker says some kids may be facing harm instead.
Opposite sexes and sexual assaults that are occurring therein. I have numerous incidences of anecdotal information.
The allegations coming out of a Finance, Ways and Means Committee hearing with lawmakers questioning officials from the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, including DCS Commissioner Margie Quinn. Republican Representative David Hawk first asking questions about children in state custody sleeping on DCS office floors, an issue we covered extensively in 2022.
You've now told...
We talked about this during the Summer Wells case, okay? Because this is when we heard about it. We also heard about, shipping teens off, people off to like Utah and Arizona. We went through that in the Sebastian Rogers case. All part of this Tennessee. I don't understand how Tennessee is so bad at this.
Yes, there are children in DCS offices. You've told us years prior that no, there were not. I need to find out which it is.
They lied.
Quinn clarifying children are no longer sleeping in offices thanks to more housing from the faith-based community. But children with higher medical or behavioral needs and those facing criminal charges who can't be around other kids have always slept on DCS office floors because there's nowhere else to put them.
We made the decision 3 years ago that we were not going to put kids in hotels.
How do we not have decisions made in 3 years? She's saying 3 years ago, right? How have they not resolved the issue of other children that can't be around other children? How have they not resolved that? How have they not found a medical place to put those children? Because if a child can't be around other children, I would think it would be for medical reasons, either psychological medical reasons or violent or other type of tenancy medical reasons. And I'm pretty sure there are definitely, I can tell you, if they told me the problem, I could find a solution like this, okay? So for the state of Tennessee still not to have a solution after 3 years is a problem. And this even supports, moreover, why I'm telling people that live in the state of Tennessee, it is time for new leadership, top-down leadership. You should not be dealing with these problems. You guys pay a lot of money in taxes, state taxes, and I don't know, do you guys, I think you guys are state taxed. I think you guys are state taxed, but even if you're not state taxed, you still have state taxes. You still have sales tax. You still have gas tax, road tax. You still have a lot of state tax. Even Florida, we don't have an actual state tax, but trust me, we have state tax. Okay, we just tax our people different mechanisms, usually through gas and roads and tolls and stuff like that. But again, you guys are paying a lot of taxes in the state of Tennessee. For these issues not to be resolved in 3 years is a problem for me. No state income tax. Okay, so you guys still have other mechanisms to get those taxes. Probably, what is your sales tax? Usually in no tax, no state tax, we usually have a higher sales tax. Does anybody know what the sales tax is in Tennessee? There's got to be a mechanism for them getting some taxes. So if they have no state tax, then they're probably designed much like Florida in that sense. Okay. So there it is. 9.25. That's pretty high. So you guys are being taxed quite a bit. Okay. There's no real good excuse for it taking 3 years to get these issues resolved. When we come up with issues, it does take some time to get the stuff implemented, but to resolve the issue, to have laws and bills and new legislation in place in a situation like this shouldn't take 3 years.
We don't have the option to put them in an Airbnb. We don't have any other houses, and so they're in an office.
Then, more disturbing allegations came of sexual assaults in DCS facilities run by faith-based organizations and nonprofits. Representative Hawk says he has secondhand knowledge of the issue.
The instances of these placements being made in faith-based facilities, what is DCS policy on opposite sexes being in a placement like you mentioned?
We do house boys and girls together in the same house. They're appropriately supervised per ratios. There are enough case managers and private provider staff, especially trained, and in most cases security as well. If there is the charge of a sexual assault or any type of assault, that is appropriately investigated.
Consensual encounters between two children 13.
This is a problematic problem as well, because what they're about to say is shocking. I don't think any 12 or 13-year-old child should even be considering doing the thing, the birds and the bee thing, you know? But to say a 13-year-old child can provide permission to do that is pretty disturbing, even with the same age group. Okay? I find that problematic for me personally.
If there is the charge of a sexual assault or any type of assault, that is appropriately investigated.
Consensual encounters between two children 13 and older are not considered child sex abuse under state law. But these allegations come after a
13 or older. We put people to death for 12 and younger in the state of Florida. You've got some serious, disgusting, immoral problems in the state of Tennessee. This is not okay. Let's listen to that again, because we're all on here for the same reasons.
Provider staff, especially trained, and in most cases security as well. If there is the charge of a sexual assault or any type of assault, that is appropriately investigated.
Consensual encounters between two children 13 and older are not considered child sex abuse under state law. But these allegations...
So that means somebody 17 years old can sleep with a 13-year-old as long as it's consensual. That is a problem for me. That is a real big problem for me. That is not good law enforcement. Okay? I'm sorry, it's just not. I've got problems with Tennessee. I've got problems, a whole lot of problems that you guys, it would take me, I could literally go on for a solid year about the problems I have with the state of Tennessee. They are not a good state for our children. And you know what? This is all about advocacy to enlighten the people of Tennessee, not condemn you guys for living there. It's to enlighten you. Because I can't think that you guys are all okay with this stuff going on in your state. You are just ignorant to the fact that it's going on in your state. Much like I was very ignorant to the fact of the stuff that was going on in my state. But you bet your pretty little butt, as soon as I found out what was going on in my state, I went around the state and made sure it was nipped in the bud very, very quickly. I made a very big impression. I would scream at boards that I have never been in front of before, slam my hand down, and let them turn away from me when I'm speaking. You look at me when I talk to you. You show me respect when I talk to you. I made them listen. And so some people need to go around and do the same thing. You know, this is not okay in your state. I can't fix the state of Tennessee. I'm working on trying to fix the state of Florida, okay? And I've got to go dip my toes in Kentucky, because you guys know I can't stand Massey anymore. It's driving me, it's giving me such heartburn that I'm willing to pay out of my own pocket to go over in Kentucky and do some work out there. Just so I can put my part in on relieving Tom Massey of his crap. So I can't, you know, I'm going to try. You guys know Sumner County's in my eyesight, so that's what I can deal with. But the whole entire state, it's hard. We need a lot of help to take on the state of Tennessee, but we have to agree that these laws are poor. Okay? They're poor. When a 17-year-old can do something to a 13-year-old, we got poor laws in the state of Tennessee. That's not allowed here. Okay?
Come after a scathing 2022 audit by the Tennessee Comptroller that found DCS failed to investigate reported sexual abuse cases and didn't follow up on the cases they reported to law enforcement. Reporting in Nashville, I'm Tori Gessner. DCS didn't.
So again, very highly disturbing information that I thought you guys needed to know coming out of Tennessee. Not happy with that, and that is Tennessee DCS faces sexual abuse allegations. That's the title of that, if you guys would like to read the article associated with that yourself, which is, in my opinion, pretty good. Give me just a second here. It's pulling something up. One of my sessions expired, allegedly. Maybe I'm in the wrong Facebook. Let me open Facebook and get... Apparently, Facebook on this phone is going wacky tobacky. It's just going wacky tobacky on me. Look at this. It's just, this is my Facebook. It just keeps flickering back and forth, flickering back and forth. I might not be able to read that or show you guys that because I can't. Let me see if I can turn this off and maybe get this to reset. Restart. We'll hit a restart. Let's see, give it just a second. We'll move on with this case. But how disturbing in that at 13 I haven't even kissed I think I had a crush on a boy by the 13. I'm pretty sure I did. But we didn't think about the birds and the bees stuff. Like, I would kiss a freaking picture, you know, and just feel like I was in love, right? I can't imagine. I mean, I wasn't even worried about the birds and the bees until I was in my 15s, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Like the Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block, that was it. That was my, oh my gosh, I think I was 9, 10 years old. I was in love. I was in love with Joey, the little Joey, you know, the cute little one with the little curly cues on top, the short guy, that Joey. Oh, I had my photo. Mwah, mwah, right? I'm sure I was in love with all the cute New Kids on the Block stuff. We had a lot of boy bands. You know, talk about heartthrob. But we didn't know what the heartthrob meant. You know, we thought kissing was like, you know. We thought the kissing was the birds and the bees. Kirk Cameron for Mrs. E. Oh, yes, Kirk Cameron was a looker too. Yeah, and Joey too. Yeah. My daughter loved New Kids. Yeah, that was it. But did I think about anything like, you know, like adult stuff? No. The furthest thing from my mind. Leif Garrett. I don't know who Leif Garrett is. I have to look Leif Garrett up. Let's see if we can get our Facebook to work or if it's going to spaz out on us again. That was the weirdest thing. I've never seen it do that before. At least I don't recall it doing that. And I know I saw this on Facebook because I'm the one that, you know. Let's see what we got here. Maybe I was in my... Nope. Session expired. Please log in. It's not letting me... All right, give me just a second. Let me hit it on here, guys. Don't go nowhere. I got to pull it up on here and take a picture of it, and we'll put it on. I'll remember what it is, but I don't, apparently I'm logged into the wrong account on Facebook, and it's not allowing me to log out because for whatever, it shouldn't be like that, should it? I mean, it just keeps saying, it just keeps popping up, expired. You know what, let me take this whole Facebook off. I'll go to the next one. I don't need to worry about that. I'll go to the next one. This is the crazy one. Holy smokes. I don't know how we missed this from Utah. And we're hearing that this just happened, just in the last few days. That there were 5 children locked in an Ogden shed, and this is in Utah. Some sick crap going on, and we're going to be closing out after this. But this is one that I thought you guys needed to know. This is from KUTV, obtained exclusive body cam footage showing moments 5 children, including an infant, were discovered locked inside a backyard shed during investigation last month. So this was from last month, but it was just dropped just in the last few days. And nobody's heard about this case? Nobody? 5 children, including an infant? Are we losing our touch here on the true crime genre? How did we miss this? People in Utah, if you guys are watching true crime, you need to start sending these stories out to your true crime commentators because I didn't even know about this. And we might be taking, I forgot this, it depends on whether this person is legitimate or not, but I had somebody reach out to me from a Port Charlotte case, a missing father, and the stepmom never called the father in as missing. So we might have our own mystery case, mysterious case right here in our own backyard that we might be jumping into to help. I'll let you guys know about that. I'm not going to release the name until I have an opportunity to speak with the family and get some updates on what's going on in the case. And once I have that, then I'll start presenting that case to you. But damn, right? Now listen to this, guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm putting I don't put trigger warnings on this at all. It's not my thing. You guys are in true crime. Everything's a trigger warning, but there are some that I put an extra trigger warning on, even though I don't do trigger warnings, just because I think the information is disturbing. This is about 5 children, including an infant, being in a shed. So trigger warning, folks. If this is something, if it's too much for you to handle, please move on. I'll try to. Oh, sorry. Let me get my light out of it.
Yeah, exclusive video tonight of the moment 5 children, including a baby, were found locked in a shed behind a house in Ogden.
This was back on November 15th. Ogden police were investigating a shoplifting incident which led them to 36-year-old Wilbur Rojas, wanted on a felony warrant.
Now, Brian Wolf went through some of that body cam video and spoke to police and child abuse advocates about the case.
Sorry.
He's live at the Utah Children's Justice Center tonight, one of the many places offering safe harbor for victims of abuse. Brian, a terrible story.
Yeah, yes indeed, Mark. This place offers, safe facilities for victims of abuse like the children in this case. And these new videos highlight the abuse happening in that backyard in Ogden with the mother who was away accused of shoplifting and a father that was already wanted by police.
Whoa.
Why are they locked in the shed?
You shouldn't be in there.
Ogden police body cameras were rolling when they unlocked a shed as they were serving a search warrant looking for 36-year-old Wilbur Rojas. What they found shocked everybody.
Locked in, too. Did you see the rope?
5 children ranging in the age from a few months old to 6 years old were locked inside this shed.
The fact that that door was secured from the outside, that scares me.
Former law enforcement officer Chris Bertram says this posed a huge fire safety risk.
You saw these officers, it caught them off guard, and I think they still wanted to continue searching, but quickly realized, we got to take care of these kids.
After rescuing the kids, police turned their attention to Rojas, who was hiding in a car in the backyard. They used a non-lethal beanbag round to get him to come out of the car.
Yeah, let's do a beanbag.
Guys, put your hands up. This happens right in our backyard.
Child abuse advocate Caroline Aston says the kids were left with no resources, nowhere to go, and were left to watch themselves, making for a dangerous situation.
I will tell you, I have a problem with the whole shed thing, okay? I have a whole problem with the whole shed thing because of a personal experience that I personally had, okay? And this is one of my best friends growing up. So I'm not going to disclose his name too much, but I was best friends with, and we'll call him KC, okay, just for the purposes of this show. But he's still in prison to this day. But he was one of my very, very, very best friends in elementary, high school, middle school. His mom worked for the county. He has a brother. Mom was taking care of both boys by herself, whatever. We were very close in age, very close in our birth dates. And he was under the influence of substances, not alcohol, from what I gathered. And he was driving in Palmetto and lost control of his vehicle. And he ended up driving through a fence and hitting a shed. And, in all intents and purposes, okay, no big deal. He ran and crashed into a gate and hit a shed, right? Well, the bad part is in that shed was a pregnant mom and her husband, or her soon-to-be husband. They were about to get married. They were about to welcome their child in. And they were staying in this shed, sleeping in this shed at night to save money so they could purchase a rental property or whatever. They were trying to save money and they were pregnant and stuff like that. Now, while I don't think that that's a suitable living environment for a pregnant woman or anything like that, people do resourceful things when they are broke just to put a roof over their head. So now you apply that to having 5 children and an infant. Now, granted, they're not by a road, at least that I could see. But if they were by a road, how dangerous that would be. Because my friend is in jail for the rest of his life because he was on substances and he killed an entire family. Okay? And again, this was something that shouldn't have been tragic. He hit a shed, right? He hit a shed. He would have been in trouble for being under the influence, but he definitely would never have taken out lives. He never hit their trailer. These people should have never been in the shed. But again, at the end of the day, at court, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because these people had a right to be in the shed. And they didn't have a right to be hit by some person hopped up on substances. And so that's going to have to be, my friend is going to have to live with that the rest of his life. And this is not the only friend I've had to deal with them going to prison for a manslaughter charge. You know, in my high school days, another kid that I went to school with knew very well. It actually worked for my husband for a little while, I think for 3 or 6 months. You know, he ended up being out at one of our parks drinking with his best friend, and he ultimately killed his best friend while we were in high school together. And he ended up having to go and spend time behind bars for that crime. So there are a lot of stuff that I've experienced just here in this small community that makes a difference. And when I hear children being locked in a shed, it's unnerving for me. Why? Because my experience is a shed being demolished by a vehicle with a drunk driver and taking every single person in that shed out. And to think that there's 5 children in their shed. I'm getting goosebumps right now. It angers me that much. It angers me that much, you know? And to have 5 children in a shed and they are just out there locked in it, anything could happen. We could be looking, this was, you know, in the silver lining of all this is that this was a shoplifting situation, and many officers don't really care. If the shoplifter gets away, they file a report, they let the business, you know, go through the insurance company to be, you know, they don't really care. And in this case, they actually followed through with the report and it saved 5 children. That's the way I'm looking at it. Because my experience is people that are locked in sheds, something will eventually happen. And once that happens, it's too late. That's been my experience. So I'm very thankful for law enforcement for following through even on such a low-level crime. Again, most officers don't put in the legwork, and they did. And I think that will at least help these children thrive a little better. And you know, I don't think these parents are the worst parents in the world and shouldn't have an opportunity to get their children back, okay? You're not talking, I mean, this was very neglectful. I think they need some parenting classes, but I by far do not want people to condemn the parents so much that they should not have an opportunity to get their children back. They should. They just need to live life a little better. This is putting their children in danger, and we cannot have that. And hopefully it's a valuable lesson learned so they can get their children back and can live a peaceful and productive lifestyle. When I start hearing parents stealing, it means that there's not a lot of money in the house. So we need to figure out what the issue is. Is it an education issue or is it a substance abuse issue? If it's an education issue, this is where our country could be stepping up to the, like, we throw so much money away in entitlements. Why aren't we sending some of these people to college or to get educated so they can provide for their family? It seems like that would be a much better use of our taxpayer funds, is to send people off to get educated, because a lot of people are stealing because they can't afford to live. Why can't they afford to live? Because they had terrible parents, they had a terrible upbringing, they had a terrible lifestyle, and they were never taught the basics of life. And maybe they just need to be educated, and maybe that would be more beneficial to really helping a person in their life than throwing money at them and keeping them ignorant, where they're just stuck. I am one of these people that don't want to see people stuck. I want to see them thrive. Okay? And I damn sure don't want to see them stuck on the tit of the government when they have so much potential, so much better potential. They're better than just $200 in food stamps. You know? I look at everybody and see such bright people in them, even when they are not as educated or not as smart. I feel like they could do so much more for themselves if somebody just gave them the tools to do it. You know? And I get sick to my stomach that I see people, you know, being our government basically saying you're not worth our time. You're just worth being passed off. Here's a couple bucks. Go away. You know, I just think that is a crappy feeling, because I see the best in everybody. And I think that the people that are on, you know, welfare and these things, it's just because nobody has given them any other opportunities or options other than that. And I want to see them have options. I want to see them make more than what they're getting in government assistance. See, like, I want them to see the possibility of them literally not needing the government for jack shit. You know, I believe in them. I believe in everybody. I believe that there are better things out there where our money could be better suited. Think about it. If we educated people, what is the number one reason why there's a lot more addiction and alcoholism? Do you know that most of that stuff is predominantly for uneducated people? The more you make people educated, the more they're bringing up. Now, granted, addiction it's blind. It's blind to your net worth, but having those things, making somebody have something better to look forward to, or keeping them busy and not such idle hands, it helps with all of it. It helps with depression, it helps with alcoholism, it helps with substance abuse. And I just feel like there's more. And not only that, people, they want to feel like they're smart. You know, they want to feel important. They don't want to feel like the bottom pits of society. You know, but once we as a society label them that, well, it's hard for them to pull their head up. So I just think there's better ways of doing things, and this is not it. All right, guys, we're at the end of our show for this morning. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you learned something. If you learned something, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Consider sharing this. Again, we're not celebrating Sebastian's birthday because he's not here to celebrate it, and he should be. And I'm going to continue to condemn his mom and his stepfather because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those two pieces of shit. And, you know, for me to sit there and try to coddle or make people feel some type of way or be respectful, I'm not respectful to people that hurt children. I'm never going to be respectful to people that hurt children. I'm just not built like that, okay? No matter how hard I try, I'm just not built like that. Okay, I'm going to say what I say. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to keep moving this needle forward, but I'm going to remove the mask. I'm going to remove the facade. I'm going to let everybody know that house is a house of horrors, and this poor boy lived with a bunch of bullshit, and nobody's going to be able to take that away because we got enough evidence to support that. And it's just sad. It's just sad. I wish his mother would just come clean. We all know we're just waiting for her to come up, you know, to get balls, you know, a military woman to get balls and acknowledge what she's done. That's what it's going to take. But I'm going to tell you, as soon as she's behind bars, I'll be there. I'll be there in Tennessee because I'll be running from that courthouse, from that jail cell every single day. I will be making sure everybody that had anything to do with her feels bad for even so much as helping her, because she's a monster. And I truly believe she's a monster. And there's not going to a judge in this world that's going to stop me from saying it. I can tell you that right now. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Why isn't it Sebastian here celebrating his 17th birthday? Go ask Katie Proudfoot. Go ask that woman why this child's not here celebrating this birthday, because she's the only person that would know. And I say that facetiously, you know, I say that facetiously, but she's the one that knows. She's the one that knows why we cannot celebrate this birthday with Sebastian Rogers. Her and Chris, they are the only two people in this world that truly know why Sebastian isn't here celebrating his birthday. And we're not giving them a free pass. We will never give them a free pass. We want Sebastian home. Dead or alive, we want him back. We want him back. Dead or alive, we want him back. We prefer him being alive, happy, and healthy. But at this point, we just want him back because he deserves so much more. He deserves so much more. I pray to God Seth's, it's Seth's birthday too, right? It's Seth's birthday too. And I pray he gets his son back. I pray he gets his son back. I pray for him to have answers this birthday. That is my birthday wish for Sebastian and his father, that they finally get the answers that they are seeking. And I pray that we get Sebastian. That's all I care about, is bringing Sebastian home. But that shit-eating grin that Chris Proudfoot always has on his face when he says we're never going to see him again, the best part about it is he never left evidence. I don't believe that. I believe that we have an incompetent law enforcement body. That's what I believe. This case, mom and stepdad should have been behind bars with the abuse allegations. But again, just like everything else in Tennessee, this is shit. This is shit work. All those ballsy people that want to act like they're the big guys. They, the hats. They're tough. They're real men. They're real men. They're real men. Ain't nobody a real man in Tennessee so far that I've seen. Not a real man of power that can get this job done. There hasn't been nobody I have met at Sumner County Sheriff's Department or in the makeup of Tennessee so far that has been able to bring this case home or even charge the parents with the abuse of this child that is well known and documented. Why aren't they in jail for that? Are you too broke to do 2 separate trials? Is that where we're at? That they're refusing to arrest them because they don't want to have to spend money for the second trial, much like Don Wells and Candace Bly? I mean, we know that that's the reason why they didn't get charged with all those things. They wanted to cover it up and just take the children through family court with no due process whatsoever because, again, Tennessee is creeps. The whole freaking state. The whole freaking state. You are not protecting your children in the state of Tennessee. You're putting them in peril. Folks, Tennessee is not a good state for children, young children. You guys have got to step up to the plate and force your politicians to start caring for your damn children. I can tell you, I can't do that for you. You guys are going to have to realize that these laws are not working. They're not protecting your children. I mean, for F's sakes, when you can have a 17-year-old hurting a 13-year-old and it's got nothing to see over here. What? Anyways, I digress. You guys make it a great day. Go to church. Pray for Seth today. Pray for Sebastian today. Condemn Chris and Katie today. I don't know what to say. Sebastian should be here. If you're in the Clarksville area, please support Sebastian's memory by heading over to Culver's and picking up a dinner and your free malt. Picking up a dinner and your free malt. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. God bless.